All right, so BitBoy Crypto, your first time on Final Stand. I was actually looking at the metrics. A lot of our subscribers are the same. We have a lot of the same people. So a lot of people probably already know who you are. But for those who don't, let's go ahead and get an introduction. Who the heck are you, BitBoy Crypto?
Well, my name is Ben, and I run the YouTube channel, BitBoy Crypto, and this is actually my first stand with Final Stand. Really excited about this. Matt is, of course, been on my show, I think, twice now, definitely 2 times. You came on my channel. We're excited to have you. And, I started this channel in January 2018 at the very, very, very peak of the bull run from 2016 to 2018. And I started out as a comic book superhero was what the aim of the channel was going to be. It was an animated cartoon series. And over time, people didn't want to have fun in crypto because everybody was losing money. So we started doing news videos and updates and coin reviews. And, we didn't get a lot of traction for 2 years, but over the last year and a half, we've absolutely crushed it. We're the #1 channel in all of the interwebs for crypto, of course, non-Dogecoin specific. I mean, you probably pass this one day. But, we really look at ourselves as kind of the vehicle between the mainstream and crypto. We have a lot of celebrities, a lot of athletes on the channel. We make a lot of good connections, and we try to explain things to people in a very understandable, relatable way, which I know you do as well.
Yeah, it's definitely great to see what you guys have been doing, bringing new people into the community. And I think both of us have kind of been feeding into each other's channels to some degree, because I bring new people in, you bring new people in, and we're all growing the community together, which is great to see. But I'm going to go and hit you with a little bit of a hardball, not too hard though. What is your least favorite crypto out there?
Dogecoin.
No, no.
No, I'm just kidding. Somebody was actually telling me yesterday on our Around the Blockchain show that we do every day at 5, which you were on last week. Aaron from Altcoin Daily was on the channel, and he reminded me of something that I said. I'm going to dodge your question a little bit, or doge your question a little bit, and then I'm going to get back to it. But he had actually told me, he said he remembered when he met me in person in 2019, that he was talking about how trash Dogecoin was. And even back in 2019, I told him, I said, okay, Dogecoin is still a top crypto. Like, you got to respect it. And when the market goes up, it's going to pump. And it's actually got some use case, which is it helps fill Bitcoin orders because it's got more Bitcoin per Satoshi in order books on Binance than any other coin, because it's the lowest priced top coin, if that makes sense. So I thought it was interesting that, he reminded me of that for you, even before, people were, pumping Doge, and even before Elon Musk had ever tweeted about Doge, I do respect it as a coin. Now, as far as my least favorite coin out there, there's several. I mean, you get down into the lower end of coin market cap, and there's tons of bad ones out there. But as far as the top coins, Bitcoin SV is definitely one that sucks. Bitcoin SV is a fork of Bitcoin Cash, which is a fork of Bitcoin. Is led by Craig Wright, who is, we call him Fake Toshi. He tells everybody he created Bitcoin when he clearly didn't. He's like kind of a nuisance, a pest in the space. Nobody really likes him or respects him. So Bitcoin SV is definitely a coin that I hate. Tron is another one that I'm not a big fan of. Justin Sun always making headlines, and it's the founder of Tron. There's a lot of stuff there as well that I don't like. I don't like the way, I take relationships very seriously, and the way that people are treated. And if people watch, we have another channel called Hit Network. Like, you see how we have a great work environment and people love working here and stuff like that. But I know you've been up here, Matt, you've seen it. But the thing is a lot of people I know that worked at Tron, it was not a good work environment. And so they didn't treat their people right. And that's stuff that I really don't like. So I would say, Tron and Bitcoin SV are 2 of the only top coins in like the top 50 that we don't own.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I agree with you on a lot of those points as well, especially with Tron. They've been getting more and more attention lately. I know, like, the hard Tron fans, which probably aren't that many, may get mad at us, but it's okay. It is what it is. We still have other cryptos to talk about. And now on the flip side of that, we'll go ahead and go a little bit easier here. What's your favorite crypto? You talk a lot about Ethereum on your channel, and I, of course, love Ethereum. I own a decent amount of Ethereum, and I'm going to continue to hold that. I think Ethereum definitely has a chance to, at some point in the future, pass Bitcoin. Dogecoin, I think, has a similar chance. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because it's smaller right now, but I would love to hear your thoughts. What's your favorite crypto? Is Ethereum currently your #1?
Well, I do love Ethereum, and it's definitely my #1 favorite altcoin. And I'm not blind though. It's definitely does have some issues, but we believe that those issues are going to get fixed over time. With the rollout of the London hard fork in July, and later on with the full rollout of ETH 2.0 in the next 2 years, they're supposed to fix the congestion, fix the gas fees, solve a lot of the problems. So, I love Ethereum. It's very near and dear to my heart. It's, what you'll find is your opinions on things change. Like here's what's funny. Tron was my favorite coin at one time, and Ethereum I thought was overvalued and was never going to make it. But what happened is throughout the bear market, I saw that Ethereum, like it had a period of time where it did nothing and then it started growing. And I realized the value of having a huge pool of developers, a huge pool of, applications and projects that are built on your network and things like that. And Ethereum throughout the bear market proved it was not a one-hit wonder and it was going to be here to stay. The thing that I love about Ethereum is that it is bringing on the decentralized internet. Through smart contracts, decentralized finance, it all runs through Ethereum. And when you look at its biggest competitors, which are Cardano and Polkadot, which I own a lot of those too. I love Cardano. Cardano, I would say, is definitely my second favorite coin. When it's pumping real hard, sometimes I'm like, maybe I like Cardano better. You know how it is. But I do love Cardano as well. But when you look at Cardano and Polkadot, like neither one of them have their full ecosystems out yet. Polkadot doesn't have their parachains, which is their big thing that they offer. Cardano still has not rolled out their smart contracts yet. So we think these all will roll out in time. But Ethereum's already done it and proven it. It's got some issues, but it's done a lot already. And so when you look at the up and comers like Cardano and Polkadot, you just see how, we're still betting on the speculation of how they're going to do. But when you look at Ethereum, it's already doing it. And like you, I do believe that probably within the next 5 to 10 years, Ethereum, well, I would say next 4 to 8 years, actually, Ethereum will pass Bitcoin in market cap. It just does more things.
I certainly hope we start seeing more appreciation for the altcoins. Bitcoin, of course, getting a lot of thunder from being the first one, and it has, of course, set the trail, and that's awesome. But at the same time, I think there's so much more than just Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space, and people are starting to realize that more and more and more. As of right now, we're seeing Bitcoin one of its lowest ever total percentages of the entire market. I believe it's somewhere around 40% right now. And it's been significantly higher than that in the past. The entire market cap of crypto, though, going all the way down to 1.7 trillion. That's a huge fall. And I'm sure your portfolio took a little bit of a hit this week. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about what happened with your portfolio? What was the lowest it went to from the highest? Like, how much did you go down in terms of that?
Yeah. So we had the peak of the dip, so the deepest valley of the crash, we were down about $10 million in a week. So that was not fun. Everybody here was losing money because everybody that works here is into crypto. And, from a personal perspective, it was very tough. But I'm very quick to pick myself off the floor and move forward. And that's what we did. But what puts me in an interesting position is the fact that my job is to calm people's fears when it comes to crypto. I don't want to stoke fears. Now, however, you have to keep them anchored in reality too. So had to come on the stream that day and talk about how we just don't really know where the market is heading to, but we saw the gigantic crash and how much people got hurt from that. And that makes me truly sad, is when people lose a lot of money. So I do think that the market will be heading back up, but the numbers, like just from the last week, aren't great, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. And my portfolio definitely took a pretty big hit this week as well. But of course, I know you're most likely holding the majority. I'm holding the majority as well. I think that's probably the smartest thing to do, because we know the future. We know how bright it is. And we're not just going to let a little bit of a crash kind of take away that potential that we see in it. So this is the price of gold over the last 30 years. We've seen it continue to steadily climb up. It has reached a little bit of a plateau in the last few years, but overall still a lot of upward direction. Especially we're right around there right now in terms of cryptocurrency and where it's going. And we have not seen any major crash, meaning more than 80% or anything like that with gold. And so we have talked some on both our channels about potential crash and warning people about it. I know you said in the past it could maybe be September or later this year. Do you think it's possible, based on the chart of gold, that maybe there's a decent chance it won't happen. I personally am of the opinion that there's less than 50% chance it'll happen, but I do see where it could. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on that compared to the gold price.
Yeah, so I would say that, in my opinion, the gold chart isn't quite as comparable for Bitcoin because of the amount of years. Like, it's a much longer term. You're putting everything into hyperdrive here with crypto. And the thing is, what we love about Bitcoin and what we love about crypto in terms of from the investing standpoint is we love the volatility. People don't like the volatility when it drops, when they bought high, but it's the volatility that actually allows you to make more money in crypto than any other market on the entire face of the planet, in the history of the planet. So really, we want the 60 to 70 to 80% drops. We just want them to come when we're prepared for them to come. You know, we want them to happen when we've already like maybe moved stuff over to stable coins, or we've sold some of the top. You've cashed out for the bull market. Then when it drops, you come back in, because I can tell you this, for you and me, people that have, you know, decent sized portfolios that are making a lot of money in this market, when you look at people that are just getting in that have $100 or $1,000 or $2,000 and that's all they have to put in, they want the 80% drop. As an early investor or early adopter, you know, you still want to be able to give access to newer people to get into the market. And if people thought they could only make 10 or 20% in Bitcoin and crypto, they wouldn't keep coming. They come in because of the prospects of the giant spikes. So I think the volatility is important. We love it when it's going up. People don't like the red candles. They don't like watching it go down, but that's actually where you can accumulate more. So I think that just in comparison to the gold chart, I would just say it's not as relevant. We haven't seen, you know, in the history of gold, we haven't seen those, you know, super dramatic crashes in quick amounts of time, like especially one day, like we just saw.
Yes, that's definitely a good point. I would argue too that gold, we have way more potential in cryptocurrency altogether than gold. Yes, we may see some big drops and big things like that. Even though I disagree with you a little bit on the percent chance of a drop of that size, I do agree with you that it definitely is possible. It can happen. And there are factors that could easily cause that if they do happen, which I hope they don't. But in regards to it going up, I mean, we're at around 10 trillion right now with gold. We could easily see cryptocurrency going significantly higher than that. There's no reason crypto can't go to 50 trillion or even potentially 100 trillion at some point in our lifetimes. Difficult to do, would take a lot, but at the same time, it's so much easier to buy than gold. You can actually use it in so many more ways. And so gold has so many limits on it that cryptocurrency doesn't.
Too. Gold's a giant scam also. The gold industry is driven by old people buying it on Fox News. You know, like if you've ever watched Fox News or CNN or any of these channels in the middle of the night, that's all the commercials they have. That's all about buying gold. But the funny thing is they have to make these like commemorative gold coins for you to own gold, because a normal person can't just call up a gold company and actually buy gold bars. It's all done by distributors, and it's all done, with IOUs on top of IOUs on top of IOUs. There's actually a huge derivatives aspect to gold that people don't know about. Same thing with silver. There's a lot of control on the prices. They limit the supply. They're like overseers to gold that control things. In crypto, we don't have that. So, I think that it's funny. I'm sure all the gold people like Peter Schiff, they love calling crypto a scam, but gold's one of the biggest scams of all time.
I mean, yeah, it's funny to really see kind of people go into cryptocurrency and try to take it down point by point. And you look at that and say, well, you can do all the same things with gold, but times 10 or times 69, if we want to use one of our favorite numbers there. What have you been doing with Dogecoin so far? I know you did purchase approximately 100,000. How has that gone?
Yeah.
What is your long-term plan when it comes to Dogecoin? And right now we have seen Dogecoin. Currently, it's at number 7 in the world. It is right now only approximately 4 billion away from Binance Coin and only 5 or 6 billion away right now from Tether. If it does that 5-6 billion leap, which is very possible with Elon Musk, it would then be the 3rd largest cryptocurrency in the world after Ethereum and Bitcoin. At that point, it's kind of hard not to respect it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts kind of on that.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do respect it. I do hold some. I don't hold as much as I hold of other coins that are around that range. I own, 7 figures worth of Ethereum, Polkadot, Binance Coin, Cardano. I own, 5 figures of Dogecoin. So it is, and basically one of the reasons is at one point I did have 6 figures of Dogecoin and I sold it. And, I look at crypto as investment from an investment standpoint and a utility standpoint. Sometimes I will hold things that have utility that I feel like have not realized it yet. Dogecoin is a community coin. I don't like when people call it a meme coin or a joke coin. That kind of degrades it, in my opinion. It's a community coin is what it is. And the community has grown significantly this year. And that's why we're seeing the price continue to go up. And of course, Elon Musk, I was around on Twitter when Elon Musk tweeted about Dogecoin for the very first time. We were talking about that the other day. It was in 2019. I think it was July or September, sometime in that range between July and September of 2019, when he declared himself the CEO of Doge. And people got to get a big kick out of that. He posted a bunch of memes, and then it blew up ever since then. For me, I have taken a lot of advantage of the pumps of Dogecoin. So I can't remember how much I bought. Maybe it was like $20,000 when it was at a penny or less than a penny, right when the Wall Street bet stuff had started. And I rode that thing up to 7 cents and I sold it. And I made a lot of money on that. Made about $100,000. And so then on this recent, Elon Musk Saturday Night Live thing, I bought it a week ahead of time at 36 cents and I sold it all around 70 cents, between 66 and 70 cents, depending on a few different buys. Well, I didn't sell it all, excuse me. I sold 80% of it. So I kept 20% of that. And so I still have, somewhere, I don't know exactly where it's at now, somewhere between, $10,000 and $20,000 worth of Doge at this point. I'm not dumb enough to know or to believe that there's not a chance that Dogecoin could go much further and that Dogecoin could pick up momentum and more developers and become something it could. And because of that, that's why I'm always going to keep exposure to it.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. How did you get started when it comes to cryptocurrency and YouTube? Kind of give us your journey in terms of that.
Yeah, so I first invested in Bitcoin in 2012. It was $12 a piece. I was actually using it as a currency. I know it's crazy for people to believe, but I was using it to buy a software that I needed for a company. Their payment processors had been shut down, and he was like, "Hey, I can only take this thing called Bitcoin." I was like, "What is this?" So I bought it, and I, had about $10,000 worth over that year that I had spent, and I had a small amount that was left over. And what ended up happening was in 2013, in November, when the prices shot up, all of a sudden the small amount I had was like $3,000. I was like, $3,000? This is like a lot of money just for nothing. And so I sold it, which was good because I had it all on Mt. Gox, which got hacked in February 2014. So I would have lost it anyways. It's not like I actually would have been able to hold on to the Bitcoin. I didn't understand custody at that point. And a big problem was I didn't understand Bitcoin. Like I was just buying it like if no different than someone that would go buy a prepaid credit or a prepaid gift card to spend somewhere. Like that's all I was doing. I was getting Bitcoin to spend it. And that's all I was concerned about. Well, in 2017, I started doing the math on how much money I should have. Now, I watched Bitcoin. I watched the crypto markets over that 4-year period between when I sold and I got back in. I bought some Bitcoin here and there a little bit, but only short term. Like bought it at 200, sold it at 300, stuff like that. But in 2017, I really started figuring out like I should be a millionaire, and I wasn't. And I was actually struggling financially. And so I started like buying crypto in 2017, and in 2018 in January, I decided to do this channel. And really, when this channel in March of 2018 turned into a news channel, it was really all about the fact that I didn't want other people to go through what I went through, where you have the biggest opportunity of your lifetime sitting right in front of you, and you blow it and you miss it. And that's what I did. And so that's really, the heart of what my channel is and why I make YouTube videos is to teach other people, to give them that education that I didn't have on crypto and Bitcoin so they understand what they're investing in so they can make money long-term in this market.
Cool. Okay. And then what is kind of your thoughts on selling and buying within taxes? What is your advice when it comes to taxes? What can you tell people? Is it smarter sometimes to not sell and wait the year? Or would you recommend people, if they are trying to play the market, they do sell high and try to buy low, even if that could come at a tax loss if they end up making a mistake?
Well, we use automated software for a lot of that stuff. Or let me rephrase that. In the past, I used automated software. Zenledger is a company. There's also one called TaxBit. And one of the cool things about those is they track your crypto gains in real time. You sync them up to your wallets and your exchanges through API. And so real time, you actually see your tax burden. And you can actually decide whether or not you want to make a trade or whether it's good. And at the end of the year, they help you do what's called tax harvesting, where you can actually sell some of your crypto at a loss in order to actually have a lower tax burden. But I'll be totally honest with you about taxes. They're way too complicated. People obviously hate them. We are 100% transparent. I definitely say to everybody, pay your taxes, but we don't like them. But I don't live my life worrying about taxes. I don't make a trade based upon whether or not I think it's going to be good or bad for my taxes. We have a professional CPA, Gordon Law, in Chicago. A lot of people, we're in Atlanta, but we use them. They're in Chicago. They're one of the best CPA firms around, especially for people who have larger portfolios that really need to know what's going on. But I can't live my life based upon making decisions on taxes. At the end of the year, we're going to get our tax burden and we're going to pay it. And that's just what it's going to be. We know our CPA is going to help us. We have, a lot of holding companies set up, a lot of stuff set up to help us with the tax burden. But look, guys, paying taxes is a good thing. That means that you made money. That's the way I look at it. And if you're not, if you don't blow all your money and you make sure you're saving money for that tax burden, when it comes, it's just built in. And one thing that's kind of interesting is actually next week on Tuesday morning, I'm flying out to Texas and I'm going to be speaking to the Texas State House of Representatives. And they want to know my opinion on regulation and taxes and how I think stuff should be ran. So the cool thing about what's happening with my channel right now is we're actually getting to a point where my community's opinions and decisions on what should happen in crypto regulation wise, like their opinions are going to be heard. And we have a real chance to actually affect policy, not just in Texas, but eventually maybe in, multiple states across the country and maybe on a national level at some point.
Social media, especially Twitter, I think is a powerful tool. It can be annoying at times, but Twitter, a powerful tool. So let's be using that. Let's be using all the tools at our disposal to make those things happen. If you guys want to find BitBoy, you know where to find it. BitBoy Crypto, the channel, also his other show. There's a couple of ways you can find him. I'm Matt Wass. That's BitBoy Crypto. This is Final Stand, and I will see you in the next video.